Am I the a-hole warning my friend about my ex who she is now engaged to and telling her to stop complaining about things I warned her about? I, 25F, met Dave, 26M, in college. We dated, everything was great. We got engaged and moved in together. Within 10 months I realized he had a serious issue with masturbation, laziness, and some other stuff. Sue, 25F, has been my friend for years and was supposed to be my maid of honor. She was upset about the breakup but one day called and said Dave asked her out. This was a few months after the breakup. I'm not a gatekeeper. I just said, Sue, Hess not a good guy. You're like a sister to me and I wouldn't want my sister involved in the same situation I just got out of. I added some situations. I said hey, I'm not perfect either, but the relationship was far from balanced and was so toxic. The ring or apartment didn't help. She said she understood. Next week they started dating. I just removed myself. I had blocked my ex and saw he sent me a message on socials but blocked and deleted all of it. Now, a year and a half later. Side note, I caught my ex trying to mess with my birth control once, which made my sex drive/trust just fall and was a big domino in our breakup. He wants kids yet can't bring himself to shower more than 1 in 3 days. She called me crying. They are now engaged, with the ring I gave back to him, and she is pregnant. She's at the end of her line. He doesn't help with the house and pays little on bills. He told her, his pregnant GF, to go donate blood if she was so worried about money. I let her cry for an hour. How Hess lazy and refuses to work, his negative attitude, and how Hess sexting bots online but how it isn't cheating since it's AI. How lazy and shitty he is. She even retold stories that I told her of what he did to me. I felt numb to listen to it and just thanked God it wasn't me. This was what I was afraid of. This is why I left him. At the end I just mustered, Sue, I told you this would happen when you started dating. Not like a sneery jab, just an emotional, honest one. She hung up. She hasn't tried to contact me since. Am I the a-hole for trying to tell my BFF how my ex was when they started dating and being unsympathetic now that the same things I told her are coming true? Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that she will have to wait to go back to work even with our agreement? When my wife and I decided to get pregnant, we agreed that she would stay with our son for the first 2 years and I would spend another 2 years until he started going to school. My son, due to birth problems, was born with health problems and because of this, there is a higher cost with doctors, exams, medicines and even with the health plan, we still have a lot of expenses. When my wife took maternity leave, we earned the same salary and this salary would be enough to have a comfortable life with a child, but with our son's healthcare costs it would be completely unfeasible. We currently have good financial conditions because I got promotions that increased and it is possible to have a comfortable life and provide all the healthcare for our son. Our son is 1.5 years and we sat down to talk about these plans. She said she talked to the company and they were willing to hire her again under the same conditions and that we would have to plan financially for me to stay at home. I was very honest and paraphrasing, I said, look, I know that our plans were these in the beginning, but we were only able to have this comfortable life because of my salary. If we depend only on yours, it will totally compromise our income and not give us the same quality of health for our son. I'm sorry, but you being the sole provider in the house is not possible and I'm not going to do this with our son. Daycare is not an option for us because my wife is completely against it due to the bad reputation of these places in my country and it has always been her wish to only enroll in school at the age of 4. She argued saying that it was our agreement and that she supported me being at home and now it's my turn to give her that chance. Me, I understand and if it were the situation we expected I would agree and do it, but that's not our reality and I'm not going to do that with our son and you'll have to wait a little longer, unfortunately. She was very upset, saying that I went back on our initial agreement and wasn't committing to something. My work is not possible from home, I just don't see how making this change would compromise our family financially. I admit that maybe it was a failure in our communication, but on the day-to-day rush. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister her childhood is the reason she's not always included in things? I'm 18F. My older sister is 26. We are half-sisters, as we share the same dad. We are the only kids to our dad. Our dad and her mom were once married. I wasn't born obviously, and when they divorced my sister lived with her mom 99% of the time. She grew up 4 hours away from us. I only saw her a week out of the year growing up. She would attend some holidays with our dad's side of the family. Once she graduated high school, 9 years ago, she lived with our dad and I was seeing her all the time. That's when we built our relationship. My mom and dad live in the same city so I've always lived 50-50 with my parents. So we have an aunt and uncle on our side that I basically grew up with. Ever since I was 6 I've been staying summers with them out of state up until this year. They also have a son I'm 2 years apart from. They tried to have my sister for summers when she was a child but because of whatever she never got to. The past 9 years my sister is finally around enough, just like I've been my whole life. I graduated this year and had a party our dad's side attended. My uncle, our dad's brother, Booked a trip for us to go to Hawaii. His family and me. And I didn't know, my sister didn't know. I didn't want to bring it up at all. When our cousin brought it up at my party, my sister asked out loud, "You guys are going to Hawaii?" And it became awkward as hell. Our uncle and aunt kinda rushed in a room and I just quickly said yay and walked away from the topic. I saw my aunt take her in a room and talk to her. I didn't know what they talked about, nor did I ask until my sister reached out to me yesterday. Basically she said she's had time to think about that day and said our aunt told her that she's an afterthought because they didn't get to build a relationship with her when she was young. And because of lost time things are kinda the way they are. My sister said to her aunt that since she's been around the family more now, it's ridiculous she excluded over such a thing she had no control over. She told me that she doesn't appreciate them playing favorites and excluding her and making excuses for it. Also that she didn't care about not going to Hawaii. It's the point. When they claim they wish they were closer to her. She said that they are potentially putting a wedge between us by doing things like this, and that as her sister, I should know how she feels. I told her this had nothing to do with me, and that our aunt has a point with her childhood being the biggest reason things are the way they are. I also told her she was wrong for thinking our aunt was playing favoritism. She told me it's a shame I don't see an issue with this. And that she looks at me different for siding with my aunt. Am I the a-hole for telling my son that he's not coming on vacation because he didn't check his emails? I'm planning a family Thanksgiving vacation and a really good deal came up to go to the Cook Islands. I emailed my son 20 yo ollie on Friday and called Sunday to see if he wanted to go. He's in college and I'm not wasting money on a ticket if he didn't want to go. I needed to know by today because I have to get visas for my 16, 11 and 8 yo sons. Well, he didn't, so I bought the package. Just now he texted me saying he wanted to go. I said too late. Already bought the tickets. Next time check your email or answer your fucking phone. He said most people communicate on text. I said well, most people don't get to go to the Cook Islands. Now his mom/my ex is trying to tell me that he's Gen Z and text is their primary communication format. Had I texted him, then he would have responded. I said I don't care. I'm well in my 40s and check all of my communication formats because I don't want to miss anything. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter-in-law she wasn't invited due to her weight? We have done plenty of things that are not physically taxing with her, but even the small stuff, she ends up on a bench half the day. We went to a small mall, half the day on the bench. It was window shopping. She is obese, her ankles are swollen from her weight. The connection between her weight and not walking far without a break is very obvious. I will try to keep this short. I have 3 girls and we still like to do girl trips for the day. My son got married to a girl named Beth. Now before her first kid she was average weight and after it got a lot worse. Her only kid is 8 years old at this point and she hasn't lost the weight. It's bad enough that she needs constant breaks walking. I used to like her and now I don't due to how she acts. Everywhere we go with her it is constant complaining that she is tired. The last girl's trip to the mall was spent sitting on a bench half the day since she needed constant break. If you try to leave she will go on about abandoning her. It's annoying. I invited the girls to go to a farm for pumpkin patch and pick some apples. It has big orchards and a ton of walking. We went, it was a great time and some pictures went on Facebook. I got a call from Beth asking why she wasn't invited. I lied saying it was just a family trip and she accused me of lying. I had enough and told her the truth. I told her she wasn't invited due to her weight. That she forces us to stop all the time and it ruins the trips most days since we don't get to do half the stuff. She called me a jerk and hung up. I am getting texts from my son saying to apologize, but the girls are on my side and are sick of having trips ruined since we have to wait for her all the time.